But yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like a teenager because I don't remember what it was to be like a teenager. Like, I don't want to sound ancient by saying this, but still,
You
I'm
did
like,
little bit.
yeah, that like, okay, now I tell because I'm getting a little older, age is just a number. Age doesn't matter. I tell it now. Now I think, sorry, like now I think we are adults without or without accepting the whole thing. Now
True.
we are adults. Me hiding. Oh my God, I can't really help you. Don't look at me. I don't want to be caught.
Gonna be
I
done.
forgot. Sorry, Lakshmi Mate. No, no, money is the biggest thing about being an adult. I sometimes feel like I'm gonna die doing all those things.
Everyone, I'm Kaveri,
Hello, I'm Prajwal.
and welcome to Virtually Unfiltered. So today you're going to be talking to a bunch of teenagers with money, basically nothing else. So let's see how life is being a teenager with money. Okay, let's start with Prajwal.
I wish, I wish to go back to a teenager thing. But I like the concept of teenagers with money, which is not
Yes,
a reality in any angle. But I think nowadays teenagers do get earn money, they do work, they do things and all. We as a teenager, me as a 20-year-old also, we used to go to mom saying, I'm going for lunch, give me 100 rupees. But the good point about the whole thing was I was able to do things with 100
yes,
rupees. That
yeah.
was an
Today,
advantage back then.
yeah, yeah.
But
Now we are
yeah.
very old for that, but still we are teenagers by heart and by mind. So it's okay.
So, okay, do you really still feel like you're a teenager, or this is like a cover up of the what they call
No,
deep pain of becoming older?
see, I
Like, is
mean,
this a
it's
cover up?
again, no, it's not a cover up. I feel like a teenager. I don't know how to explain it. There are moments where I feel like an adult, but in general, I feel like a teenager. I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I'm always confused with something or the other. And I'm always like, oh, is this what being an adult always was? That's always the first thing we think.
So, also, we are not teenage shaming
Yes,
today, so that's not
yes,
the goal. Yeah, but yeah, I get the point. So, by now, you might have realized what the topic is like adult. What
being an adult.
exactly is,
Yes,
yeah, being
growing
an
up.
adult? When did you feel like being an adult and all about
Yeah.
the adulthood? But yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like a teenager because I don't remember what it was to be like a teenager. Like, I don't want to sound ancient by saying this, but still,
You
I'm
did
like,
little bit.
yeah, I don't know exactly because I don't think so. I was a teenager when I was a teenager. I think I took
Ah,
a longer time to become a certain, like, I was a slow while growing up in a way where, like, I
okay.
was a small kid till a certain
Ha
extent.
ha, same,
Then
same.
again, like, I think I kind of might have skipped where they say, right, there's a lot of rage with teenagers and all. I might have skipped that phase
I
and
think
all.
I'm currently in that phase in life. So I'm in that rebellion phase of being a teenager, being in 20s. That's the
But
only thing.
I think one advantage of being a teenager is somebody puts up with that rebel.
I
Being an adult, if you
swear.
feel like a teenager and putting up a rebel show,
I
who
do it
is
to
exactly
myself.
putting up? Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yes. No, also a little
Yeah.
bit to my parents also. But yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, what have you been like, okay, this is the moment where I am an adult? Or are there phases where you feel like an adult? Or what do you think? What do you think about adulthood or any of those things?
So, no, I think adulthood, in a way, in general, if you want to define it, it's a little scary to be very honest. Like it comes, adulthood in general is like it comes with a lot of responsibilities. It comes with a
Yes.
lot of baggage with respect to how you are supposed to behave. Like there is always a thing, right? A certain age, you have to behave a certain way. So I
But
think
isn't
there is
that
a lot of
societal expectations are not really a
no, but
realistic
that is
expectations?
true. That is people who have figured out that like okay now I tell because I'm getting a little older. Age is just a number. Age doesn't matter. I tell it now. Like, but it's not in general. There is
Yes.
always a fear of being how exactly people are perceiving you. There is a fear of judgment in general. So adulthood comes with a lot of these things. But I don't think so. There was a particular moment where I felt okay. Yeah, I wish it was like in a film where you wake up one day and
I'm
mustache
an
has come
adult.
and then you are an adult all of a sudden. Like how the hero transformation happens in movies, right?
The glow
I like
up.
I
Yeah.
wish there was certain moments for us. But I think for to be very honest, when exactly did I feel an adult is where maybe when in home, like the first moment of realization is without me knowing, people started asking for my opinion on things. So when you are in a kid, nobody actually bothers about what exactly do you think. Hey, jao jao, atar ko hogo is what normally we say. But if there is something else happening, then you are asked for an opinion. Hey, what do you exactly feel about it? I think
Right.
that was kind of which started with me. I think that's where I started to feel like I am an adult. And that's how my adulthood journey started. But again, it's an on and off, on and off, on and off situation. Sometimes I feel like I'm, like you said, I'm a teenager. But yeah, without responsibilities. And no, but again, I don't want to use teenagers here. I feel like somebody, I don't know what it is,
A kid.
non-adult
Yeah.
term it is called. So I feel like there is not there. But whenever I take up responsibility, whenever I have to take big, big decisions, that's when I feel like, okay, now I'm an adult. I have to think like an adult. What about you?
I think for me, as of what I remember, was when I took my scooty to college the first time. That was the first moment I think where I felt like, oh, maybe I am an adult. I was basically 18 at that point. So the first time I took it, I turned 18, and then a few months later I took it. So that was the first ever time. But as you said, I think there's never a situation where I'm like, I am an adult. I don't feel that. I'm like, there are moments where one is this and the other one is like, I see people getting married our age, and I'll be like, oh, we are adults. And
No, no, but now I think, sorry, like now I think we are adults without or with or without accepting the whole thing.
no,
Now
true.
we are adults.
No, it's
Yeah.
like for me, being an adult was basically I have my life figured out and I have things sorted. So that's where I was like, that day never comes. It literally never
No,
happens where you have things put together. It's like there's always something out of place. There's always something you're trying to bring it back to place. That's basically adulthood, is what I feel now.
I think it's also a myth around adulthood where, like, when you were a kid, you felt like, okay, when you become old, everything is figured out, everything is sorted. It's not the
Yeah,
case.
that's true.
I
That's
think
true.
when we were young, it was the best phase of life. You do not have to think about serious stuff. You do not have to think what exactly needs to be done tomorrow.
I
You can
swear.
just live your day. But I think as you get older, I think this is something which changes. It's like you have nothing is sorted. You have to figure out everything, and there is no book. Yes, there is a lot of things which people have told you can learn from people's experience of doing what.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you're not actually planning to follow that path where like everybody has done, and if you want to be a person of
Different
your
from others.
own,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, then there is nothing carved out. And in general, you can't really figure out a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
No, I think the situations came into place where, you have to deal with bank stuff or something. I was thinking. I used to be like, oh, adults know what they are doing. And then I realized, oh, even I don't know, none of them know. They just did it a few times and then they now know. But the first time when they started out, also, they don't, literally, you won't know where to start.
So
It's
for
like,
me,
yeah.
even I don't know even now. If I have to write a
I'm
DD, I get
trying to
very
sound like I know stuff. That's all.
yeah, no. If I have to write a DD, I'll be so worried. Like, oh, what should I write? Where should I write
My
what?
God, my
I'll
dad
be
writes in
troubling
most of
somebody there. That guy will be giving me a look about, oh, this guy looks like old guy. He's asking me everything. And when you go to a bank, especially when there are people like from village or something, they'll be looking at us. I'll be hiding. Oh my God, I can't really help you. Don't look at me. I don't want to be caught of not knowing
Correct.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that phase happens so much. Like in everything, I feel like it's, people say you're a dumb person and you're trying to figure out stuff. And that's basically adulthood, is what I feel. There's something you figure out, and then there is something else you have a problem with. You have to start from zero, figure it out yourself. I think that is the difference where when we were kids, our parents were the ones who handled stuff for us, so we never had to worry about how things are done. So now we figure out how much they did for us. I think that is one thing which I
Yeah.
realized when I became an adult, where how much they did for us without us even knowing about any of it. So all the work in the
Also, I
background.
think they kind of followed the norm, and that's why they actually tried to figure out everything. We, as a generation of adults, are not really keen on figuring out everything, also. That's where I think we are even little more in a difficult situation where,
Yeah.
ha, dekh lenge is what our motto,
No, I
ha,
think
we will
that's
see what to
technology.
do.
Before they didn't have
Yeah.
technology in an instant where they can just search and you're done. We have that privilege. So
No, also see, for example, like for a guy growing up in the olden days, you had to know driving at a certain age. Had to know a certain things at a certain age. There is a defined blueprint of how exactly you should grow up. Now there is no defined blueprint.
I'm
Like
glad
my
though.
uncles and yeah, my uncles and other people will be telling, hey, you should know this, you should know this. I personally feel I don't think so. I should know this. It's good to know.
It's good to know.
But
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's actually a norm where you should know everything. Definitely, I'm not covering up like I should not know driving. Driving is a must skill. Everybody should know. But it's not like, oh, it shouldn't be something which should be shamed of like, oh, you don't know at least
Correct.
driving also. It can't be used in that context where I don't think so. You have a proper blueprint defined for our generation, at least in when it comes to adulthood.
Yes, that's true. But at the same time, if do you also feel it such that there's a never-ending to-do list, literally?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I sometimes feel like I'm gonna die doing all those things. Like you keep on doing the same. Like just for instance,
I'll show
adulthood
you
where
my
you
to-do
join
list.
to.
Literally, this is my to-do list right now.
No, I have a fancy to-do list. I use the Microsoft to-do list in just like it looks like whenever you finish the task, it make a sound and also it just makes like that. But I think just take anything. I am yet to get my passport renewed, and it's been an year. And like,
Same, same, same,
and there
same.
are so many things which needs to be done, and this
Yeah.
never gets over. You do a certain thing, there is something else waiting at the door saying, "Oh, I am next." So what I
Yeah.
do is, if I stop at this one, nothing else will come in. So my mindset is like, okay, I'll stall
Let
doing
it
this, so
keep
there's nothing else
going.
I have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
might be something behind the door which is not something which I am looking at. So I am okay with that.
Now, for me, it's like a mental to-do list that will always be there. So that's why this list keeps on growing, but it never reduces after one point.
No, but at least I think you are a doer where you try to reduce the task also. I am somebody who like, हाँ मतलब it's okay देखेंगे क्या होगा. I am more of that person. I don't really clear the
Oh,
list.
is it?
That's why I think
Oh.
I have an indefinite list where I don't know when it will get over. I don't look at the list also. I'm like when it
Ah,
comes to my neck, I'll go there. I'm like that.
okay. We are
Huh, in
opposites in
English,
this
there is a
case.
term called as irresponsible for that. But yeah, I am a very irresponsible person. But yeah,
I'm a little OCD in that case. So we are exactly opposite.
yeah.
But yeah, one more thing I want to know is, do you also live in the sense of nostalgia all the time, pretty much? Where you're like, oh, when I was, at least recently, I'm noticing this in my own personal experience these days, where I would be like, I think the other day we went to a toy store and I used to be like, oh, I used to play with this, I used to do this, and this is so fun. I wish I could do this again. That those kind of statements are coming so much more often than I used to before. I think because I'm an adult now, that makes sense. But it's also a little bit of sadness where you can never go back to that day ever again. It's sad, isn't it?
No, but I feel I have a contrary kind of a thought process here. Yes, there is a point. I think one thing which I kind of felt like in when I was a kid, what I could do when I become an adult was mostly like the freedom to do things. And in a way, that's true. Now, actually, you can
Mm.
actually do whatever you want to with your life.
True, true.
Like yeah, within reason you can't really feel like okay some random stuff, but I think within reason we can still do. I think that's the freedom which comes with being adult. I think
Yes.
that is one thing that I don't really feel. There are moments like you said, yes, there might be something where I feel like, oh, when I was young I should have done it more. But at the same time there is a kind of happiness at this point of time where I feel like I can still do it now. Just for
Yes.
example, this podcast. So
Yes.
I wanted to do, I wanted to do. I always felt like, oh, I should have done, I should have done. Even now, we are independent. We have that freedom and we have the choice of doing what we want to do. So
Yes,
I think
that's
that
true.
is one benefit which comes up with adulthood.
Yes, that's true. I think one more advantage which I have to say is, when I was really small, this is not like in teenage years or anything, but when I was in school, proper school, I had to sleep by 9:30 or 9 or something. I hated it.
Yeah,
And I love waking up late in the night. And even today,
yeah,
I'll be like, okay, I want to stay up till 3 a.m. I can do that without anyone being like, why are you doing this? You're not allowed to do this. So that's, I mean, of
yeah.
course, it was for my good back then, but still, it's okay. At least I
No,
get
but
to
I
call my own
think,
life if I wanted.
yeah. So, like you said, I think a lot of your decisions were not taken by you back then. Don't
Yes.
do this, don't sit there, don't watch this, don't do like there were a lot of don't do here, this and that and all because someone else was taking decision for you because we were not smart enough to do. I think still now few people's decision should be taken by someone else. I feel when I look at their decisions, but I
Correct,
think
correct.
that is the one advantage of being an adult where you are responsible for yourself. Even though it sounds very scary in my head, where like I
Yeah.
have to take care of myself completely. I am responsible for everything what I do. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you have that thing, right? Like
Mm.
you said, waking up late, waking up early, whatever is there, you are responsible for your actions. You can do whatever you want to.
That's true. Yeah. And at the same time, but the disadvantage side, if you have to think, is you can't really throw tantrums anymore. That's a sad thing. Like, I mean, I didn't do that much, but who will listen? Even if I do now, they'll be like, okay, now go do your job. That's all they can do now.
No, man, I think you had a very much easy growing up. If I had
Yeah, yeah.
told a tantrum, my mom would have given one left, right, and
No, I
center.
didn't that time
So,
also, but now I thought when I was an adult, at least I could do whatever, but that's not really true. I feel like there's
yeah.
more boundaries when you're older than when you were a kid because a lot of
No, but
things
I
are
think if
forgiven.
you going back to your tantrum thing, you can throw a tantrum, but you have to convince yourself out of the tantrum also. Nobody gives a F now,
Yeah,
like, oh, Papa
yeah,
Kaveri is so sad and all. Nobody gives an F, like,
yeah,
or
that's
she
true.
is having a moment or something. And that comes back to again with the moment of, okay, the boundary of where you have to
Setting your
be. An
own
adult
boundary
cannot do a certain
always.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very tough. I mean, being responsible for yourself all the time. Like, you want to eat something, it's okay, you can eat, but again, bring it to limits. If you want to watch something,
Yeah.
okay, watch it, but bring it to limits. And you are supposed to
So
do all of it.
I think we adults are also very confused in what we want. We want somebody to take care
Stop
of
us,
us and
but
the
not
way
control
how
us.
we want them to take care of us. Like we want them to take care of how we want them to take care of. We don't want to give them a freedom of doing whatever they want to. Like we like the feeling of somebody saying, "Hey, why
Correct.
are you eating so much? Hey, take care of yourself." But we also want them to say it whenever we want to
We
say it.
want
Sometimes
not.
I want to indulge. I don't want somebody to get involved when I'm being indulgent and all.
True, true, true. Yeah,
I think
that's true.
one of the other saddest realization of adulthood was like some random kid from the street comes and calls you uncle.
Uncle,
I think
yeah.
that's the moment it kind of hits you, saying, "Oh my God, like I have
You
become
know
an
that
adult now."
it was a funny moment where me and my friend we were on a walk, then we sat on a like bench and we were talking, and then a kid was like, "Auntie, please pass the ball or something," and my friend was like, "We are not aunties, call Akka." She
No, I am
literally
like, I think this ball moment is with everybody. I
everyone, yeah.
also had a
No,
kid
but sadly
saying,
for
"Uncle,
me,
give the
this
ball."
started when I was in 10th grade. So I don't think it hurts me that much because it started when I was in 10th grade. Yeah.
No, no, I did not give the back the ball. So I teach the kid a lesson. I keep the ball.
Ah.
So if you call me uncle and all, and also I think kids sees it in our eyes. They know that we get triggered. They look it
Yeah.
into our eyes and then say, "Oh, should I call him uncle?" I'll be like, "Please don't call me uncle.
And
Say
then
Anna.
they
Say
be
sir.
uncle.
Say anything." Yeah.
True, true. But what do you think is the best thing of being an adult and what is the worst thing of being an adult other than what, like, I think we have already told the never ending to do list and boundaries. But if you just think on a generic note,
I think the best thing about being adult is the freedom. Like I said, the freedom and the choice of doing whatever you want to do. I think that's the best thing where you are, like you will start judging your judgment even more. You know
yeah,
that you are a responsible person and you know what to do. And I think that comes with being an adult. And the worst thing I think is the loneliness. I think as you get little older, as you like an adult thing comes, I think again, adult friendships is a different topic to talk about. But I think as you get older, it becomes difficult and difficult. And I think loneliness is a bigger thing which comes with being an adult. I don't think so. Just a marriage or just a partner or just friendship actually take that away.
no,
Still, people can be very alone in their own sense. What about you?
yeah. I think I agree with you in both of the cases pretty much. But yeah, freedom, yes, and the money. Having the money to be able to do
Yeah.
that is
Oh
one
yeah,
of the
I
best
forgot.
things.
Sorry, Lakshmi Mate. No, money is the biggest thing about being an adult. So I
Yeah.
think money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. It's given us even having the money has helped us to even start this podcast
Yeah.
because I know we didn't spend much, but still, we feel confident enough to be here. If we are
Yeah, yeah.
like, okay,
So
even if it
we
doesn't go
have enough
anywhere,
money from our jobs so that we are not expecting a lot out of this.
yes, yeah.
No, in that way, don't stop. Please
Don't
subscribe.
stop,
Please
but
subscribe.
yeah, we are
Yeah.
prepared. That's all. But yeah, that
And
is
the worst thing?
worst thing. I think for me, it's the fact that I cannot be a kid again. I don't know why. I think I already did mention, but I would say not being able to be a kid again, where there are no responsibilities, there is no never-ending to-do list, and I could just go out and play without having to think about
Yeah.
anything. So yeah.
Yeah. Not being like not wanting to be an adult is a bad thing of being an adult.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, but it's just I would want to have a more moments of me being a kid. So that I would have been a kid
Not.
better than I already was. I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, that is. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry for ending it in a sad way.
No. It's not sad.
Yeah.
It's just a fact though. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
that was
it.
it. Please tell us
Yeah.
your like the day you felt you became an adult, and yeah, what do you hate about being an adult, and if you relate with that never-ending to-do list and having to figure out stuff. Yeah, tell us your thoughts, opinions, everything. Thank you for
Yeah,
watching.
and also tell me the moments of when people called you uncle and all. Please
Ah,
share
yeah,
those
yeah.
things also.
Yeah, we don't want to feel
Thank
alone in that.
you.
So, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, then.
Bye.
Bye bye.